DNA tests just proved something archaeologists refused to believe for centuries. Scattered across 5 continents, people who never met, who speak different languages, who practice different religions, all share identical genetic markers. Markers that trace back to 12 ancient family groups that ruled the Middle East 3,000 years ago. 10 of those groups vanished. Not gradually, not through natural assimilation. They were erased in a single military campaign that historians call the most effective ethnic cleansing in human history. But here's what nobody talks about. Those 10 groups didn't just disappear. They hid, and modern science is finally finding them. Today, you're going to discover the rise and fall of the 12 tribes of Israel, real kingdoms with armies, trade routes, and cities that rivaled Babylon, and the archaeological evidence that's rewriting everything we thought we knew. The story starts with a con artist named Jacob. He tricked his blind father, stole his brother's inheritance, ran for his life. But one night, something happened that changed everything. Jacob wrestled with a mysterious figure until dawn. Not a dream, physical combat. And this figure, this divine being, renamed him Israel, which means struggles with God. Jacob had 12 sons by 4 different women. Sounds like a reality TV disaster, right? But each son became the founder of a distinct tribe. And here's where it gets interesting. These weren't just family groups. They were nations with completely different personalities. Reuben, the oldest, lost his birthright because he slept with his father's concubine. Simeon and Levi were violent, known for massacring entire cities. Judah became the royal line. Benjamin produced warriors. Issachar were scholars. Zebulun dominated maritime trade. Joseph, the favorite son, was sold into slavery by his jealous brothers. He ended up ruling Egypt. His 2 sons, Ephraim and Manasseh, were adopted by Jacob. So Joseph actually generated 2 tribes. Then there's Levi. This tribe received no territory. Instead, they became the priesthood. They lived off offerings from the other 11 tribes. They were teachers, judges, and guardians of the law. If you want to see how these dysfunctional families built an empire that changed world history, hit subscribe, because this gets wild. 400 years later, Jacob's descendants numbered over 2 million people. They were slaves in Egypt until Moses led them out through the wilderness. At Mount Sinai, God didn't just give them laws. He gave them military structure. Each tribe had specific roles. Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun formed the vanguard. Reuben, Simeon, and Gad defended the south. Ephraim, Manasseh, and Benjamin controlled the west. Dan, Asher, and Naphtali brought up the rear. The tribe of Levi marched in the center, carrying the Ark of the Covenant. They had no army. Their job was maintaining the presence of God among the people. When they invaded Canaan under Joshua's command, each tribe received territory by divine lottery. But here's what's fascinating. The territories weren't random. They matched prophecies Jacob had spoken on his deathbed decades earlier. Judah got the most fertile lands in the south. Dan received coastal territory, but later migrated north. Zebulun settled near the Mediterranean, fulfilling the prophecy that they'd be a seafaring people. Archaeologists have found evidence of these distinct tribal territories. Israel Finkelstein from Tel Aviv University documented settlement patterns with unique pottery styles and architectural features for each tribe. Seals, coins, and inscriptions confirm they existed exactly where the biblical text claims. During David and Solomon's reign, around 1000 before Christ, these 12 tribes reached their peak. Jerusalem became the capital. Solomon built a temple that rivaled anything in the ancient world. Israel controlled trade routes from Egypt to Mesopotamia. But there was a problem brewing. The northern tribes felt exploited. They paid heavy taxes to support Solomon's building projects in Jerusalem. They provided forced labor for his megastructures. When Solomon died in 930 before Christ, everything collapsed. His son Rehoboam met with tribal leaders from the north. They had a simple request: lighten our tax burden. His response was brutal. My little finger is thicker than my father's waist. If he punished you with whips, I'll punish you with scorpions. That was it. 10 tribes seceded immediately. They formed the northern kingdom called Israel, with Samaria as their capital. Jeroboam became king. Only Judah and Benjamin stayed loyal to David's dynasty, forming the southern kingdom. This wasn't just political. It was religious warfare. Jeroboam built alternative worship sites at Bethel and Dan so people wouldn't travel to Jerusalem. He set up golden calves as worship symbols. He mixed faith in God with pagan practices. The 10 northern tribes were Reuben, Simeon, Dan, Naphtali, Gad, Asher, Issachar, Zebulun, Ephraim, and Manasseh. They had more people, more wealth, better trade access. If this is blowing your mind, smash that like button and drop a comment about which tribe you'd want to belong to. But they had a fatal flaw: instability. While Judah had one continuous dynasty, the northern kingdom had 9 different dynasties in 200 years. Coups, assassinations, civil wars, constant chaos. In 722 before Christ, the unthinkable happened. The Assyrian Empire invaded the northern kingdom. These weren't ordinary conquerors. The Assyrians perfected a strategy we'd now call cultural genocide. The historian Josephus recorded that Assyrians deported hundreds of thousands of Israelites beyond the Euphrates River. They scattered them across Mesopotamia, Media, and Persia. But here's the terrifying part. They didn't deport tribes together. They separated families, mixed them with other conquered peoples, banned their language, religion, and culture. The goal was total identity erasure, and it worked. The 10 northern tribes vanished from history. Excavations at Assyrian sites revealed administrative records listing deportation numbers. Reliefs show long lines of captives being marched away. But after that, nothing. No archaeological trail, no historical records, no genetic continuity we can definitively trace. They became legend, known forever as the 10 Lost Tribes of Israel. Theories exploded over centuries. Some claimed they migrated to Ethiopia. Others said India. Some believed China. Wild theories suggested they reached the Americas before Columbus, but none have solid historical backing. What we know is this: a massive population was absorbed into other peoples. They lost Hebrew. They forgot Mosaic law. They intermarried with foreigners. Within a few generations, distinction disappeared. Meanwhile, the southern kingdom survived another 136 years. Judah and Benjamin were conquered by Babylon in 586 before Christ. But here's the crucial difference. Babylonians kept families together. They allowed cultural preservation. When the Babylonian exile ended 70 years later, Jews returned. They rebuilt Jerusalem. They rebuilt the temple. They preserved their identity to this day. So out of 12 tribes, only 2 effectively remained: Judah and part of Benjamin. That's why modern Jews can't identify their specific tribal ancestry, with rare exceptions. There are the Kohanim, descendants of Aaron from the tribe of Levi. Modern genetic studies identified a specific chromosomal marker shared by Kohanim Jews worldwide. Even Jews separated for 2,000 years carry this identical genetic signature. Dr. Karl Skorecki published groundbreaking research in Nature magazine proving genetic continuity among Jewish priests. It's one of the most remarkable findings in population genetics. But the other tribes? Still a mystery. Groups worldwide claim descent from the lost tribes: the B'nai Menashe in India, the Lemba in Zimbabwe, Beta Israel in Ethiopia. Some show intriguing genetic markers, but nothing conclusive. Here's what's mind-blowing. The 12-tribe model influenced nation-building for millennia. Unity in diversity. Different tribes, different functions, but one people under one law. The American system borrowed this concept. 50 states, different cultures, different economies, but united under one constitution. The Founding Fathers studied ancient Israel extensively, and here's something that might surprise you. The Book of Revelation speaks about the 12 tribes in the future. It mentions 144,000 sealed, 12,000 from each tribe, including the lost ones. Subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next episode on the Ark of the Covenant and why archaeologists are terrified to find it. This suggests that somehow God hasn't lost track. He knows where they are, and at the right time, the complete story will be revealed. The story of the 12 tribes of Israel is more than ancient history. It's about how purpose survives, even when everything else disappears. 12 brothers who hated each other. They sold one into slavery. But from that broken family, God formed a nation. He gave them land. He established laws that shaped Western civilization. Even when 10 tribes vanished from history, God preserved a remnant. Because His promises don't fail. He promised Abraham that through his descendants, all nations would be blessed. From that lineage came Jesus, from the tribe of Judah. Maybe you're watching this, wondering if your life has purpose. Just like God worked through those imperfect tribes, He can work through you. It doesn't matter if your family is a mess. It doesn't matter if you feel lost like those tribes. God specializes in taking broken stories and turning them into something extraordinary. Modern DNA testing is finding genetic links to ancient Israel in the most unexpected places. People discovering they carry markers from those lost tribes. It's like God is slowly revealing a mystery He's kept hidden for 27 centuries. You might not know where you came from, but God knows exactly where you're going. And if you want to know more about this God who guides history, drop a comment. Let's talk. If this video impacted you, share it with someone who needs to hear this story. And remember, just because something is lost to human eyes doesn't mean it's lost to God. See you in the next one.